My name is Amanda, for those of you that don't know me, although I'm sure that most of you recognize me from TikTok. I decided that I was going to make this YouTube channel in order to document my health and fitness journey because it is unique, to say the least. So I was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. Do you think that's what it's called? I don't have a medical degree, so I'm not entirely sure, but this all happened when I was very, very young. So I ended up having 4 open heart surgeries in order to basically rewire my heart, and all of that happened before I was in 2nd grade. So all from 2 weeks old to about 1st grade is when I had all 4 of my surgeries. And so they had to rewire everything, is how my mom puts it. But essentially what's going on now is I'm not pumping blood directly to one of my lungs, and I'm not pumping blood directly to my liver. So exercising is difficult. It's difficult, especially cardio. I get winded very easily. It's tons of fun. I love it. But I grew up wanting to do sports. I grew up wanting to do all these things. And I got told my entire life, you can't, you can't, you can't. When I became an adult, I was like, why not? Why not? Yeah, I want to do it. So I have this new cardiologist who, I've been talking to, and he's actually very excited for me to do all these things. He's just saying, hey, listen, this is you. This is what you got. We're just gonna do this. So, this cardiologist is great. I love him for that. And so we're just gonna kind of go through everything together. And if you wanna stick around, then let's stick around. I also have a decision on whether or not I want to go through a surgery, which is another open heart surgery. So again, I was told throughout my entire life that I was going to have a heart transplant. And because my heart is not pumping blood directly to these other organs, as soon as my heart starts going into heart failure, these other organs are probably going to go too. So I'm not only going to have a heart transplant, but I will probably have to have a liver transplant as well, and maybe a lung, but they're not really worried about the lung as much as the liver. So this surgery that they're talking about, which is a very recent discovery, like very, very recent, like a month ago, I think, is that what they told me? The surgery is experimental, but it should fix those things. So I am going through a lot of risk assessments for this surgery to make a decision on whether or not I want to do all of this. So it's supposed to prevent me having transplants down the road. So we shall see how that all goes. So if I do end up going through with the surgery, I will be documenting all of that and the recovery and getting back in the exercising and everything like that. So we may be starting all the way back over. But for now, I've only been exercising for about, I think, 6 weeks, and I've been doing a lot within those 6 weeks. But that is not the only physical ailment that I really have, because about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with vestibular migraines. Which that one is, honestly, that one is a little bit more frustrating than my heart condition. And the reason why is because it's chronic vertigo is what it is. And if you've ever had vertigo, you know exactly what I mean. But I basically have vertigo 24/7, and sometimes it comes in waves where it hits a little bit harder than others, and there are days where I cannot even get out of bed because it's bad. But when this first hit me, I was in bed for what was it, like 6 to 8 months. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't walk, I could barely talk because talking moves your eyes. So when you have vertigo, every slight movement makes everything worse. So I couldn't talk. I could barely eat. Like it was bad. It was really bad. And I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to try to figure out what was wrong with me because it just hit me out of nowhere. And then I ended up having to do balance therapy for, I think it was 2 months, to basically recalibrate my brain on how to walk and balance myself again and everything. And so that was a journey all on its own, and I wish I was able to document all of that as well, but unfortunately I did not have the resources to do that at that time. However, that was the beginning of when I started TikTok. That's when I discovered TikTok, and that was when I, you know, decided to start doing creating content. And yeah. So anyway, so I not only am I fighting a lot of cardio and upper respiratory issues when I exercise, I'm also fighting vertigo a lot. So it's a lot to be going through, and I'm having a lot of fun. And it is so frustrating, and it is so frustrating, and it's really interesting to see how all of this is going. Really, I'm learning a lot, and especially with only, I think it's again been 6 weeks, I think. So within the 6 weeks I've already been hitting a lot of milestones, and so yeah, let's see where this goes. I'm hoping that this reaches a couple of people who are also going through some chronic illnesses, to help them realize that they can do a lot more than people have conditioned them to think that they can do, because I went through my entire life with the notion of, you can't do that. Don't, no, you stop, don't, you stop, yeah, meh. And it always comes from a place of love and concern, and I understand that. But I got conditioned thinking that I can't do any of these things. I got conditioned thinking that I was an invalid, that I was a liability, that I was this big, and I was fragile. But going through this journey, I'm realizing that I'm really not. And it's really cool. So, if you want to watch this journey with me, then go ahead and subscribe. But yeah, that's about where we're at. So, I'm excited.